Welcome back to the OKC Foodcast, your guide to the food in Oklahoma. And joining me today is my friend, neighbor, and pizza shop owner, Kyle from Woodward, which if you haven't tried it, it's amazing Detroit-style pizza. Amongst other things, there's a few things on the menu that I really like the spicy cheese curds and the saganaki and all that stuff. We'll get into that. But first, a quick shout out to Walt 405 for sponsoring the pod and giving us this great location in their podcast studio to record this podcast. So if you need to record a podcast, you know where to look. All right, Kyle, hello.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Oh,
appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, I'm excited. I know we talked about this before we went off air the last cycle. And yeah, I'm excited to do this because I love Detroit-style pizza. I love pizza, and I particularly love Detroit-style pizza.
Well, that's what we like to hear because it is my favorite, but I'm a little biased growing up in Detroit. So,
So you brought Detroit-style pizza from Detroit to Oklahoma.
Yep, by way of many other locations where I could not find Detroit-style pizza in a lot of places I lived, and I finally got tired of it. And I was like, we're just going to do it.
We're just going to do it. Did you cook or bake it all before you wanted to do this, or is this something that you learned because you wanted to do this?
So I started making Detroit-style pizza in Detroit in 2002, 2001,
Okay.
So over 20 years ago. So I've been doing it for a little while.
Okay. Wow. Just for fun? Or
No, I worked
at a shop?
I worked at a couple shops, actually. I worked at one. They're like, you're too fast. This shop isn't busy enough. Will you work at this other one for us? And that's what I did.
You're too fast. That is quite the problem.
Yeah, like we don't need you here. We could really use you at this other shop that's 3 miles down the road. Like, well, we'll go do that. Sounds more fun.
That's like in an interview when they ask you, what's your biggest weakness? I'm too fast at making pizza. Talk about making and eating, though. Let's do real quick our eat of the week. What was the favorite thing you ate this week?
So I had like a spicy Asiago like penne pasta.
Ooh.
That was pretty good. Little bacon, some green onion, grilled chicken, got Asiago cream wine sauce with some spice to it. So
that sounds really good.
I've got about 4 or 5 of them dished up and left in my freezer for meals. So
there you go. Well, put that on pizza. He's thinking, don't think I haven't tried that. The favorite thing I ate this week was I made this. I'm going to date this podcast for when it was recorded because it will release in the next 6 weeks or so. But the Thunder just won the playoffs.
Yes, they did.
The championship. Yeah, the playoffs. We're past that now. And we were hosting a watch party, and I had this idea of making this chickpea and potato curry. And so I spiced that with like some cumin and I think some black cardamom and cloves and, just that whole shebang of spices, kind of like going to a curry style, but I wanted to keep it fairly dry. Because then I put them on these flat fried discs called papri, and then put some yogurt and tamarind chutney and some onions and coriander, and then use like a one bite. That's a coriander, cilantro. I think I went across the ocean there. And yeah, so just a quick little one biter, and just kind of wanted to try and see how that would work. They do stuff like this, but the chickpea and potatoes aren't cooked usually. So it's more like the chaat style that we've had before. This is also a type of chaat. So
okay.
I just wanted to see if I could like bring more of a curry flavor to it. So it was good. People liked it. I was pleasantly surprised. I was just like, I don't know how it's going to be warm. And I cooled it off a little bit, and the heat of the spice, I don't know. But it worked out, so I was kind of happy about that.
That sounds great. A little bit of cool, a little bit of heat. Yogurt kind of take that edge off.
Yeah. I love sweet yogurt. I love yogurt. I just eat that with a lot of like Pakistani food, so it's like, what's missing? Let's just throw some yogurt in there. Okay, so enough about yogurt. Let's get into Detroit-style pizza. I like telling the story of Detroit-style pizza, like the origin story of it, on the tours that we do, because we stop at Woodward and we stop at Rendezvous. So there are a couple of places that we like to feature Detroit-style just because I love it. And I think we've got some good pizza in the city.
It's a good problem to have.
It's a good problem to have. So but I want to, and I know you've told me this before, but for the people that don't know the origin story of the Detroit style pizza.
Okay, so there's this place in Detroit called Buddy's. There was a single location many, many years ago, back in the 40s, called Buddy's Rendezvous, which was like a bar. And, the origin story, as it's been told and retold, is essentially, this wife who was, had a Sicilian family, and they grew up in Sicily. So it's very close to Sicilian-style pizza, which is, square. Mm-hmm. It's not rectangular in Detroit. It's a square pizza, even though we cook it in a rectangular pan. But they have these pans that were coming out of, automotive factories and shops. And if you're here in Oklahoma, you might happen to find a rectangular sheet metal bent steel pan like out in a barn somewhere. It's probably used for like the same thing, like catching parts, oil, kind of whatever.
Yeah.
And, nonstick coating was not a thing back then. It was cast iron and iron pots or, maybe some aluminum. But they would season these pans like they were cast iron and cook pizza in them because it'll pop right out, even more so than these fancy, expensive, new aluminum non-stick Detroit-style pizza pans that get sold to everyone that don't keep the seasoning on quite as well as, a steel pan does. But they decided to start cooking pizza out of this bar, essentially. And, they decided to put the sauce on top because it's a light, airy pizza, and the story goes, may not be true, they forgot to put the sauce on the first bake. So they heated it up and put it on after the fact, and that's kind of how it ended up on top. But what that did that was different than, a Sicilian-style pizza was it kept it lighter and fluffier without having to bake it first. So a Sicilian pizza, a lot of those are par-baked.
Okay.
And then they get baked a second time with everything on top so that they don't weigh down the pizza.
So Detroit style is just baked one time?
Traditionally.
Okay.
If you see, I would say most shops you see popping up now do a par bake because they think it's easier dough management. They don't have to time the time and temperature for service, retard the dough,
right.
Speed up the dough, deal with different temperatures of water, all these things where you have to, there's like a narrow window of time and temperature because everything about baking is time and temperature when it comes to pizza. So they bake them first so that everyone is the same.
It's kind of standardized. They have it timed according to their shift or cycle or whatever it is.
Yep. So they'll do that, and that's kind of becoming more popular. But if you see a lot of the places that are back in Detroit, it's very unusual to see a par-baked pizza.
Interesting. Okay. I need to... That'd be the only reason I go to Detroit is to have the pizza.
So there's a lot of really good shops that I think don't get the story or the hype that they deserve because they're newer and they care more about the pizza and kind of pushing it forward and using better ingredients and newer processes than some of the old school ones. But they're still good.
Yeah.
Growing up, I was never a fan of Buddy's or some other shops. I'd rather go to like party stores.
Okay.
Which probably need to explain what that is too.
I was gonna say party stores.
So in Detroit, a party store is a liquor store.
But where you go to get the party started.
That's essentially, it's all the things you need to have a party, and most of them have like a little kitchen in the back, and some will cook.
Oh, seriously?
They'll cook, like subs or grinders, or you'll have pizza.
Okay.
Some of them will do like burgers or like not Oklahoma onion burgers, but onion burgers are kind of a thing in Detroit, but it's a lot less, and they're more finely chopped rather than rings and blackened, and
it's onions on the burger.
Well, it's onions on the grill.
Yeah.
And then they smash the burger onto it. So it's more like a onion smash burger that doesn't have like the caramelized onions that you see here at a lot of places.
Okay. So I guess maybe I'll go to Detroit for party stores too.
But a lot of those are like in the back of a liquor store. So, you go to the party store, and some of these party stores, they make really good pizza because, it's an Italian family who's owned this liquor store for, 70, 80 years.
And they're just, and I'm assuming these kitchens are fairly small, so they're just slinging out like one or two items.
Yeah, that's like, a handful of pizzas, maybe some breadsticks.
Oh, that's cool.
Probably not getting salad.
I like that.
Starting to see ones that do fried chicken.
Okay. Nice. Okay, fine. Okay, I guess I'll get a full list if and when I go to Detroit. Probably at some point, depending on how deep this obsession runs.
Yeah, so there's one that I'll shout out to, like Michigan and Trumbull. They actually started in Pittsburgh.
Okay. Really?
And they're from Detroit, and they decided to move back, and they brought their Michigan and Trumbull to back to Michigan.
What was the place called in Pittsburgh?
Michigan and Trumbull.
Oh, Oh, that's what it's called. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I thought that's what they started from it. They're like, we'll just call it that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. I mean, I spent time in Pittsburgh for college, but I wasn't as into food as I am now. Probably for a good thing, because as a college kid, you can't really afford to eat a lot of food or at a lot of places.
So I actually lived in Pittsburgh for a little while too, and when I was there, the pizza scene was not great. It's more of like a recent thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I moved in 2013 out of Pittsburgh. I had a really hard time finding good pizza.
I got out of there in 2010.
Okay.
One of my friends, my really close friend and roommate for many years, he was really into pizza. And then Pizzeria Sola opened up near UPitt's campus. And they served it by the slice and they heated it up. And that was probably the best pizza we found. But again, we didn't really explore too far out of our little, collegey bubble.
Didn't want to cross the river, right?
We crossed the river a couple times, but came back real fast. We were like, it's getting late. The bus is going to be gone. All right. So that was the origin story of Detroit style. So that's good. I don't get my facts confused because I was fact checking myself as you were telling me all that. I was like, okay, I say that. Okay, I don't say anything wrong. That's good.
That's good.
Yeah. So you wanted to bring a little bit of Detroit to Oklahoma. How did that journey go?
So, like all things, it starts with a little bit of alcohol.
At the party store.
Well, this one was at brunch. So, I had a friend moving back to Detroit from Texas, and, we were a convenient stop on the way to stop for the night, driving the U-Haul back to Detroit.
Yeah.
And, we decided to go get some brunch, which brunch always involves at least a drink or two.
Yeah, a mimosa or two. Yeah. Or are you a Bloody Mary or a mimosa person?
I'm a screwdriver person.
Okay. Close to a mimosa. I like that.
A little bit harder.
just a tad.
But, we got to talking and, talking about pizza, and my wife's like, oh, don't get into the pizza. Kyle's been talking about wanting to open a pizzeria forever, so, that was that. We talked about it a little bit and kind of nothing much came of it. My friend went on their way, and a few months later, called me back and, just texted me. He's like, oh man, you got some time to talk? Or this cryptic message, like something is wrong. I was like, dude, call me anytime, whatever. And, so he calls and, I'm like, hey, what's going on? Everything all right? He goes, and then expletive, my job. It's like, I got to do something for myself. You're serious about the pizza place? I'm like, yeah. He's like, let's open the pizza place. And, he's like, yeah, really? When? And I'm like, you tell me. And that was the start of the journey to opening the pizza place. And,
nice.
The origin story is a little bit too much to drink at brunch and, an uncomfortable job or two here. And 2 years of kind of deciding how to really bring it together. So it was kind of nice that we took our time because we were able to take all the things I knew about pizza and kind of build a fit for the market here in Edmond and Oklahoma City by feeding neighbors.
Yeah.
For 2 years it'd be, at least every other weekend we'd be like, hey, we got some pizzas to try. And, some weekends it would be, all right, we're prepping up, getting everything ready, and we were cooking 50, 60 pizzas out of our house. Man. So, and these are Detroit-style, thick, deep dish pizzas coming out of the kitchen in the house, and we'd do it in under 2 hours.
I heard stories of this. This was unfortunately before my time in the neighborhood. But I heard stories, and I was just like, man, how'd you all do this? Because, how many pizzas can you fit in that oven? 6?
So we've got 2 ovens. We get 6 going at a time. We had a couple 100 pounds of steel ballast in the oven, so we'd preheat the oven for hours to get the whole oven heat soaked. Yeah. And that way we could get the pizzas turned out quick enough. And, by the end of those 2 hours, we'd be at the point where it's starting to take a little too long to cook things in the recovery. But we figured out we could do 12 at a time on a cadence, and we'd get them out in 2 hours. We could do over, around 50 pizzas.
Yeah. Nice. Man,
And
that would be quite an operation.
Yeah, we'd have during COVID, everyone like social distance, like out in the front yard, like waiting for their time slot because we'd have like time slots in like
Okay.
reservations.
Yeah.
And our daughter at the time, who was much smaller than she is now, just out like entertaining the crowd, and then my wife with our newborn during COVID, just like hanging out, entertaining, and the daughter's like welcoming people in, and she still loves to do that at the restaurant now when she's there.
That's awesome.
So we got her some practice for years now, and the funny thing is my daughter's been kind of working on making pizza longer than anyone else at the restaurant.
Well, I mean, she grew up with pizza.
Yep. So besides me,
Yeah.
I like to say she's been making pizza for over half of her life.
Oh, and I guess eventually it'll be for most of it.
Yeah, and I mean, I can say the same thing, but I'm significantly older, so it took me some time to catch up year-wise.
I've been eating pizza for most of my life.
Yeah, and I mean, the funny thing about Detroit is it's like a pizza city. Like, people don't realize there's so many major operations that have come out of Detroit. Not necessarily doing Detroit style, but you've got like Little Caesars,
I was going to say, I thought Little Caesars was out there, right?
Domino's,
Oh, really?
Hungry Howie's. Yeah, Domino's Farms, like their headquarters is they've got this big farm thing that it really isn't a farm anymore, but they do like this massive Christmas light special show. It's like a drive-through thing, and people go every year. It's huge.
Nice. Okay, but you're selling me on Detroit.
And Hungry Howie's is another chain. There was one here in Oklahoma City, but it shut down because it's by Tinker. Jet's Pizza, Cottage Inn. I think there's probably 6 or 7 out of the top 20 pizzerias, like volume-wise,
Oh, wow.
in the country have come out of like that metro area. It's pretty wild.
And that explains why Little Caesars does. I mean, now everyone's kind of doing a Detroit style, but like Little Caesars.
They've been doing it for years. People
Yeah.
didn't know.
Yeah. I was like, that explains it. I was like, why were they on that so quick? So, yeah.
But the reason people didn't know is because it wasn't $5.
That's right.
And they didn't have them just like ready. So it wasn't it was never a hot and ready. It was you order those ones.
Oh, okay, yeah. I had I'll on and off get their cheese sticks.
Mm-hmm.
They're like the closest, fastest Detroit style pizza I can get. And there are days when they're baked really well, and there are days when they're not so baked, and I just toss it in the oven again and get the crisp on it. But it's like in a pinch, if I'm like, okay, I don't want a full pizza, I'll share the sticks with the family. I just want a couple things. It kind of works. Kind of scratches that itch a little bit.
No, and the major chains, they've always got some crazy ideas. Like, you ever remember? Well, you probably don't, because it was more like a Detroit thing because it came out of Detroit style pizza. But it was like a half cinnamon stick or a half cheese stick and like a half a pizza.
Yeah.
So it was like, half cinnamon sticks. So like, because we do cinnamon sticks at the restaurants, like a half order of cinnamon sticks and like 2 slices. Like, that'd be a kind of a cool like special offering maybe one month. Like, our pizza of the month is like a half dessert, half pizza deal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. That'd be fun. I know y'all do a lot of pizza of the months. Are there any that you've seen that people are like, hey, you got to put this on the menu? Or
So last year, we for Father's Day, I was rolling in the car before June, and I was like, I really got to come up with this pizza of the month deal. I was like, it's Father's Day. What can I do for Father's Day? Like, what's something stupid and punny that would annoy my wife?
she's not a fan of your naming.
She is, but she doesn't like to admit it.
That's one of those love-hate things.
Yep. So I was like, okay, all right, I got it. It's like, it's Father's Day. We're going to do something about like the dad bod. So I was like, kept thinking, and like it hit me, and I was like, oh, I've got this. We've got it figured out. Because like I love vodka sauce, and I love spicy. So I'm like, we're going to call it the spicy dad bod. It's going to be like vodka sauce that's really spicy, and then all the stuff that have all the fat in it. So like sausage, pepperoni, like seasoned ricotta, garlic oil, so like all the oil, all the fats, and it's spice to kind of like all that oil to like bring that spice together too. So I like texted my wife all excited, and she goes, okay, that sounds good. But last year, like we had to keep that on for like a second month because people just like wanted it.
Okay.
So then we just kind of like shoved it off in like the secret menu. Whenever we'd have vodka sauce, we'd like make it for people.
Nice.
And we brought it back again for June for this year.
Okay.
Is like hey, it's off the secret menu. It's on the menu for the month.
So it's like a recurring thing now,
Yeah.
kind of a yearly recurrence.
Yeah. So, and we found out people really like, like a spicy vodka sauce. So we're trying to decide if we want to like redo our menu to always kind of keep a little section with some vodka sauce on there. So maybe throw a couple other pizzas that have been pretty popular. We did like an MVP, which is like a marinara, pesto, and vodka. So it's just all sauces, but it's really good.
Marinara. I mean, I love if the pizza can stand up to the sauce. I put more on there.
Yeah, and that's where we kind of go a little bit light on all three. So you, depending on how you take a bite,
Yeah.
you might get a little one, you might get a mixture, you might get them all, you might get just some cheese.
Yeah.
And that way you get like options on that same pizza.
Yeah.
And
Choose
then,
your own adventure.
yeah. So that's one that people they've just like they would call and ask like, can I get a spicy dad bod? Yeah, we got you covered.
What else is on the secret menu?
So I mean, we're a pizzeria, so as long as we've got the stuff,
You can just throw it together.
we can make a pizza.
Yeah.
So, but that's one that's like it's named, it's in there, and and we do like the pickle bacon ranch. I don't know if I've put that like on the menu or not, but like that one people ask for, and I don't think it's actually on our menus.
Okay.
But you can order it, online, and you can ask for it, and we've always got pickles around for it because my daughter loves pickles, so
Okay.
she loves the restaurant pickles.
Pickles on pizza. I mean, you see that a lot, especially at the fairs and stuff.
Yeah, it's becoming a bigger thing, and it was funny. We did it, I think, pretty close to after we opened. Then the state fair came, and people were going crazy over the pickle pizza at the state fair. And I'm like, we did that like a month or two ago.
Yeah. We've been there, done that. I remember having that on one of our tours and sharing that with the guests on the tour, and they were all like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing." And I think one of the people made some comment of, "Oh, this is better than the state fair." So that was quite funny because, I mean, it's a Detroit style pizza.
We need to like
Doesn't get much better than that.
post that to our like 5-star review section. Better than the state fair.
That's an accolade, right? If you're talking about your cinnamon rolls being better than State Fair, that's something too. But yeah, better than that. That should be the tagline. Woodward Pizza, better than the State Fair.
Maybe we'll do some Instagram and Facebook posts around that time of the year. Hey, better than the state fair.
There you go. Yeah, I'll send you this clip.
I'll need to get like a 5-gallon bucket of ranch and a 5-gallon bucket of pickles. We'll just take a handful and dip it.
Oh boy, I guess we're going there now. Can we get some bread with that? Some pizza. Put it on the pizza. Dunk the slice into the ranch.
Yeah.
Okay, this could be fun. My wife really likes ranch. I enjoy it, but not as much as her. Like, she tells you, like, sometimes I've been like, oh, what kind of ranch is this? I'll kind of test her. She'll be like, oh, this is Hidden Valley, or this is Ken's, or they're like, oh, they're making their own ranch. Oh, they just got it out of the big bottle of Ken's. It's funny.
No, we're serious about our ranch. I actually have special mayonnaise mailed in because our food distributor doesn't carry the mayonnaise I want for our ranch dressing, of all things. I'm like, I'll have that one mailed in.
I mean, but that stuff like that is what makes the pizza and the flavor and things with all your food good, right? Because you pay attention to like the tiny little details. Because a lot of people would be like, well, they don't supply it, I can't get it, or it's too expensive, or it's more work or cumbersome, and I'm not going to do it. I'll just get this ranch instead. But you're like, no, I want this one. We're going to get it, and we'll make it happen.
Yeah, I'm still one step short. I want a special buttermilk, but I don't use enough to get that shipped in, and it's perishable. And there's a little farm downriver Detroit that makes the best buttermilk to mix with the mayonnaise to make the ranch.
Did you get the mayo from Detroit too?
No,
Okay.
It's like a more standard one, but it's got like a higher like fat and solids content. It's thicker because I don't like runny ranch, and
Yeah, it's got to cling to the
I want it to be more closer to dip than to dressing.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because you're ideally dipping everything in there. And talking about the other food that you've done, I think I talked about the spicy cheese curds. Those were really good. And the saganaki was kind of like a blow away. a flaming hot cheese plate is kind of how I describe it to people, which is kind of what it is. That is accurate.
Yeah, you've always got to have a little flash and sizzle on there, and it's got flash and sizzle because it's a very lightly pan fried, like a hard cheese, but we flambe it table side with a brandy. So you get the sizzle, throw in the brandy on a hot fajita plate, you light it on fire, you get a big fireball, and it's one of those things where it is good, but the experience makes it better.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. That's not something you can get to go.
No. And it's not something you do on the patio because we've definitely lost some arm hair from high winds and fireballs and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So for the safety of my staff, we'd like them to keep their eyebrows and arm hair.
It's going to be inside. No, I was telling a couple of friends who were talking about how good Woodward was. And I was like, have you tried the Saganaki? And we were out in public. And I think someone overheard us. And they were like, oh, yeah, that's really good. You're talking about Woodward, right? And I'm like, yeah, that's cool.
It's a really weird thing as like a small business owner, because we are a very small business, that we'll be out and we'll be just talking about stuff, or I'll have like a hat on and like, oh, Woodward Pizza. I'm like, yeah, it's a pretty good place. I like it.
I got nothing to do with it. I'm not biased at all, but I like it.
It's my favorite. Just saying.
That's like when I'm with my friends and they're the ones who bring up the food tours, and they're like, oh yeah, he does food tours around the city. And they'd be like, oh, really? And I'm like, yeah, and then, but like, I'm usually not the one to be like, hey, I do food tours around the city. You should come and do this.
Well, the funny thing is, like, we kind of like ran into each other kind of serendipitously, because like I was like, man, somebody's got to be doing food tours around the city that we can like get them in and, get some stuff there. And then we started talking, and it was probably a couple months before we realized, like, I could throw rocks and hit your house.
Yeah. We'd started, and we ate the pizza, and we hung out. We like sat at the restaurant for a while, and then a couple months later, we'd like figured out we behind each other.
Yeah.
What a small world. Man, I tell you though, like everyone that we've brought to this restaurant, nothing but great things to say. At first, they're like, "Oh, it's pizza," because a lot of people haven't had Detroit style pizza, and then they have it, and they're like, oh my gosh, that was really good, because like you got the cheese around the side, you've got like the bread is just really good. I feel like the sauce, I like the sauces of Detroit style pizza more than the other styles of pizza, and just like the flavor of the sauce.
The funny thing about Detroit style sauce is there's such a wide variation when you're in Detroit.
Oh yeah. Well, tell me a little bit about the variations. Well, the funny thing about the sauce first, I guess.
Well, I guess the funny thing is, like, you say you really like the style of Detroit style sauce, but it's so different. It's just like anywhere you go, there might be like a style, quote unquote, of how the sauce is supposed to be, but all of the places that have their own little spin on it, and we like a lot of flavor. So like we do like a really robust, lots of flavor packed into the sauce, and some places they're like crushed tomatoes and salt with some basil and let the tomato shine. Well, I'm like, let the tomato shine, but also pack in some more.
Get some flavor in there. Get some garlic in there.
Yeah.
That's I think the biggest thing that I've seen, at least in my limited Detroit style pizza knowledge, has been the amount of garlic that's been in the sauce.
Yeah. I really like garlic, and so does my wife. But I grew up in a household to where we always had just cloves of garlic ready to throw into a pan of whatever.
Just a snack on,
yeah. I mean, if you've ever had roasted garlic.
Dude, I was actually just about to say
like
that.
Roasted garlic, you pull it out, drain the oil off, and throw it into a food processor, and you just like dip stuff in it.
Yes, yeah.
But, I mean, basically like toom, but roasted more.
It's so good. In fact, the first time I had roasted garlic was at this dinner experience before it was None Such. They just brought out roasted garlic with, I think, some soy and maybe a couple splashes of something else. And they were like, you just kind of, they brought it on a little soup spoon, and they were like, you just kind of shoot it, essentially. And I was like, this is garlic. I never had roasted garlic before. That was so good. Since then, and then after that, since this was pre-restaurant, they were like, oh, hang out with us after the dinner. They were kind of cleaning up. We went back there. It was like 15 people. and they were like, you can ask us whatever you want. We're just chatting, we're cleaning, whatever you want to do. So I'm like, how'd you make that roasted garlic? And it's like, oh, oil, sit it in the oven at a low temp for 2-3 hours.
Just let it cook.
Let it cook, and that's it. And then you squeeze it out. It's so easy. It's so good.
And you literally just like cut the top off and basically fill it with oil.
Yeah. Yeah, you cut it in half, fill it with oil, let it go. It's not even that. You can do it faster too if you wrap it in foil, and then you can drizzle oil. You don't have to like submerge it in it.
Yeah.
But I like the poached better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, garlic is an amazing thing depending on how you cut it, how fine you cut it, how much you cook it. Like there's how fresh it is.
Yeah.
Like green garlic has like a whole different flavor.
Yeah.
Which is really hard to find.
Yeah.
Just in general.
Yeah. You're talking about like the garlic that kind of resembles green onions and chives and stuff, right?
That's ramps. I'm saying like garlic, just like green
just garlic that's green.
So
Okay.
it hasn't quite. It's like baby shoots.
Okay.
So it's called green garlic. It's like the first garlic you pull, but it's not quite ripe yet, and you still get like some of the shoot on it. But ramps are really good too, which is like wild green garlic, kind of chives mixed. It's like a cross between chives and garlic, and it used to grow wild when I was in West Virginia. So we like potato packets on the grill. It's like ramps, potatoes, and a ton of butter.
Oh, nice.
Wrap it up in tin foil and just throw it on the barbecue.
Ooh, that'd be good. It's like garlicky, oniony potatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. I didn't realize they were called ramps, and I guess I've never tried green garlic, so I'm gonna have to try that.
Yeah, so there's like this whole like variety of stuff that's similar, like ramps, leeks, chives, garlic.
Yeah.
They're all kind of close together.
Yeah,
but different.
Yeah, my mom and dad, I guess, grew, like you just submerge the garlic bulbs in water, and then the shoots kind of grow out of it, and they'll cut it and use it in like cooking. And it tasted so good because it was kind of like a light garlicky onion flavor. Yeah.
Yeah, like I've been trying to find green garlic because I wanted to make toom, but I wanted it to be green just because I wanted the color to be green and just a little less pungent because I wanted to do something different. Like I wanted it to be green, but all natural but toom.
Yeah. Oh, good luck. Maybe you'll have to get it from Detroit.
Yeah, I'll have to go find a farmer's market or something.
Yeah, I'll be like, hey, can you get me some green garlic? I'm sure someone could probably do it.
Yeah, I'll just have to find it. Maybe like Whole Foods or something. But it's like it's only in the spring. Because it's like the start of the season.
Of it, yeah. That makes sense. You were telling me that there's varieties of Detroit style pizza.
Yep. So
variations.
Yes, there's variations. There's places use different styles of ovens. So you might have brand new places running like electric deck ovens, and like some old school places using like gas brick deck ovens that are 100 years old. And you got places cooking them in conveyors because you don't have heat loss like you do on stones that get basically all the heat pulled out because it's such a deep pizza. Like it takes so much heating and power out of the stone to where your pizzas get inconsistent on a really busy night because it just can't recover fast enough. So that's why like some of these like old school places running older gas ovens, they've only got so much heat they can put out, and you start throwing pizzas in and they've got to let the oven recover because they've heat soaked, which is not what it seems like. It's the opposite. It's like we take the heat out of the oven, so the heat soaks the stones.
Heat has been soaked out.
Yeah. Don't know why it's called that, but that's what it's called in the restaurant.
I mean, there's just so many things to like pay attention to while you're making pizza. So I guess the way it's cooked changes how the dough or the pizza itself gets cooked.
Yeah. So, and then there's also places that, the next level of, so we've got like the oven we cook it in, and then you've got the hydration level of the dough. Some places are, at a lower hydration in like the low 60s. And what you end up with is like a finer bubble structure. You don't get like as much air in there because the air turns into steam and the steam expands when you're cooking the pizza. But it's easier to handle. It fully gets hydrated into the flour. Like once you get above like, low 60s, depending on the flour, you start to have more water than the flour can easily absorb. So then you get like a stickier dough. You have to handle it differently. And you start getting into like the 70s, it gets a little tough. And then, you know, you get up to like 100 and you're talking about like sourdough bread making and like everything's sticking together and there's flour and dough everywhere. And
But you get those great bubbles.
Yep. So then there's that variation. Then you've also got the pans. So you can do like a traditional steel pan that's been seasoned. And now there's, you know, new aluminum pans that are like nonstick, and there's aluminum pans that aren't nonstick that you season like they're steel. And they, you know, they cook differently because steel and aluminum are different metals. So they have different specific heat that they can transfer, and they hold different amounts of heat. So like even when you pull them out and let them rest, you get more cooking on one or the other.
Oh yeah.
So it's very different.
The whole specific heat capacity now. I love it.
Yep. And then you've got different weights. So it might be like the same size, but the pans are different weights. So even with like different specific heats, there's just all sorts of interesting stuff that even if you don't know any of the science, you can figure it all out through trial and error.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
Yeah. If you cook a steak on a cast iron versus you cooking it on a lighter, non-sticky pan, you'll hopefully notice the difference on how one's seared as opposed to the other, right? So,
yeah. And then, you know, there's places that use diced cheese versus shred. And can you guess which one melts easier?
Shred.
Diced.
Really?
Yep, because the shred's usually thicker and longer, bigger pieces. So a dice melts a little quicker because it's smaller.
Oh, so it's like the smaller. I don't know. Okay, I was thinking like the cubes that you put out on charcuterie board. I was like,
no, like a dice is like, it's like a fine dice. There's
Okay.
this thing called like a VCM. It's like a giant food processor. Like you could stick maybe like 4, 7, 8 pound bricks of mozzarella or brick cheese or whatever into it, and you just like run it for 30 seconds, and it turns it into like little,
Little
cheese
pellets?
balls. Yeah.
oh yeah, okay, yeah, that would be great. Yeah, get one for home. I was making some sandwiches and put the cheese on, and it's just obviously if you shred your own cheese, melts better. But I just took the packet and just ever since I've like really paid attention to that, and I'm like, this cheese didn't melt.
So you know why that it doesn't melt as well when it's pre-shredded?
It's got a little coating or something on top of it, right?
So they've got cellulose in most of them, which is like plant fiber. And they do that so it doesn't stick together. There's very few companies that make shredded cheese that don't add like a anti-caking agent to the cheese. And that anti-caking agent doesn't allow it to melt together as well. And you don't get like a nice cheese pull and stuff.
Yeah. Pros and cons. You have to give to get.
But here's the fun thing about the anti-caking agents. For a Detroit-style pizza, you see some of those people who have like this crazy wall crown of cheese and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Cheap, crappy cheese makes better pictures because of all the anti-caking agents help it stick to the pan like as it's baking so it doesn't slide back down.
Oh, what a interesting.
So yeah, like there's some people like when they're doing stuff for Instagram, they'll go get like pre-shredded, like not great mozzarella
They
or
can
whatever,
get the lace
or
around
cheddar,
it.
so that it sticks more to the pan as it's cooking, so it doesn't flow down. So they get like the
Interesting.
big, huge crown
Interesting.
that's like real high, and they call it the frico.
The crown always looks great.
It looks great. I don't like when it goes all the way to the bottom of the pan and all the way to the top. It's just too much
Too much
crunch.
cheese. Yeah.
And it gets too cooked because it's just all there. So I make sure our pizzas get cooked from raw so they don't shrink away from the pan. We get that traditional kind of maybe like a 1/4 inch crown around like the top edge.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a light cheese crown. I guess that's what it's called. That's cool. I'll just start referring to it as the crown.
Yeah, when you start getting
because
the
it's the king of
circles.
pizzas?
Well, they call it a frico. the frico is the I think the more common name, but I call it a cheese crown because it's easy for people to understand. What it is like the frico on the crust, and like, what'd you call me?
Yeah. What are you talking about? But the crown, you're like, oh yeah, I can see that sitting around the crust. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know how many of these secrets you want to divulge or can, but like, what is your ideal pizza, which I'm assuming you're making at Woodward or getting as close to it as possible? Like, are you hydrating more? Do you obviously use the pellets of cheese, I'm assuming.
No, we use a shred.
You use the shredded?
Because I don't want the top to melt because it takes so much heat to cook the bottom of the pizza. So you want a longer melt on your cheese because if you don't, then it burns.
Oh, and then it kind of runs to the bottom, like you were saying.
Well,
Or the cheese
it'll just burn.
Okay.
If you, because we don't par bake, so we want the crust fully cooked. So it takes more time to cook the bottom of the pizza than the top because it's in a pan.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So for us, it's the shred is the way to go.
Okay. So you're like, you need to figure out how long this cheese is going to melt for the time for the crust to cook. It's not, you only think of pizza, you're like, oh, dough, sauce, cheese, toppings if there are any, toss it in the oven, take it out, you're good to go.
Yep, that's what a lot of people think, and that's why it's you'll have people get into pizza like cooking at their house for years because like I just want to make a good pizza.
Yeah.
But sometimes they just nail it out of the park. But the cool thing now is just there's so many things on the internet and so many books that get you like 80% there on your first try. If you have the ability to read and follow some directions and, aren't easily frustrated, you can do math. Because most of those books are talking baker's percentages, which is also another thing. Like I'm talking about like hydration levels and all. It's percentages. And that way you can batch up or down any size batch you want.
So how much tinkering? Did you already know, hey, this is what I want when you and your friends started experimenting? Or was it, let's try these different things and see what works best for us?
So I had a very rough idea because I've been cooking pizza in Detroit. So
Right.
I knew some basics, but I didn't want to just regurgitate and do the things that somebody else had done. I wanted to take all of the small things that, as an engineer, I like to tinker. So I was like, well, how can we make this a little
Can you
different,
tell
a little better?
Kyle does very precise work?
But there's a lot of science to it. So it's like, there was lots of tinkering. We kind of started with a base, and then we'd kind of test things. So I think we went through. Oh, my wife got tired of 50-pound bags of flour getting dropped off by my supplier at the house. But I think we went through probably 15 or 20 different flours. And with those flours, probably between, for some of them, like 1, some of them 10 variations of hydration level.
Man.
And then what we ended up settling on is we actually blend 2 flours at the restaurant for our dough.
Okay.
So it's not a flour. We blend the flour and have our own flour mixture that we blend.
That's cool.
For the Detroit-style pizzas.
Nice. Man, just the level of detail. And obviously, I've said this before, shows in the pizza. You can taste how good it is. I don't think we ever mentioned where Woodward was. We've been talking about it like everyone knows.
Why wouldn't they, right?
Right, why wouldn't you? How do you not know? It's in the Icehouse Project in downtown Edmond. Great little indoor-outdoor space. It's got multiple concepts in there. There's a brewery. There's a playground for the kids. When the weather's nice, there's got a really nice patio. Y'all have some live music there from time to time, or some events that happen.
Yeah, occasionally we like to do stuff for like we'll have the Easter Bunny come and do like Easter eggs for the kids, or we'll have Santa come out and do pictures with Santa. We like to try and keep it a fun, enjoyable place for anyone and everyone, and that's kind of another reason that we have a lot of options on our menu that a lot of restaurants don't. Like we do, vegan options. We have non-dairy cheese. We have, like gluten-friendly crusts. We try to make sure that no one can veto like a meal. Because all it takes is one person who has a dietary restriction or we can't do this, that it'll torpedo someone's dinner idea. So we don't want it to be hard to come see us. We want to be able to take care of everyone.
You can find something there. It's okay. You will figure it out. That's good. And if they can't, they've got the fried tacos right next door.
Yep.
Across the rail yard or across the railway, you've got the rail yard.
Mm-hmm.
So they can figure it out.
Oh
yeah. You're like, just come get the pizza. And once you try it, there's no going back. Detroit style.
But yeah, it's a fun location. It's a little off the road, so it's hard to see.
Yeah.
But we're right there.
I heard they were building a bridge or some sort of connection over the tracks. Is that still a thing, or was that like a rumor that I heard that had no basis?
So it's a rumor I've heard too, but I think it's supposed to be farther north of 2nd, so more like you get into downtown Edmond, and it's probably a couple more blocks up. But I don't know. Dealing with the railroads, one of those interesting things. to where they have a lot more power than cities do.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, the things you learn as a restaurant owner. Is that something you knew before? Or is something you like?
That is something I've learned, over the past couple of years from lots of folks that I've met along the way.
Yeah. I know Edmond's now a quiet zone, so they don't at least blare their horn every time they're, I want to say speeding by, but really they go really, really slowly and sometimes stop on the tracks.
Yep.
Which is fun.
Which is wild because everyone has to drive down 2nd Street under the bridge, like right in front of us, but we're a little set off the road, so they still I wonder what that yellow building is.
Yeah, because it's just a yellow building.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I wonder if you could put up a big sign or...
We have a sign now. It's closer to where people are still coming up from the bridge. So it's kind of...
It's like pizza here, like a big neon sign.
So we did have some flag signs up at one point, and the city yelled at us to...
Hot and fresh.
Yeah.
Or...
Yeah. We can only have them for 2 weeks out of the year.
Yeah, the banners, like the feather banners, right? Yeah.
Your permits are only good for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And you get 2 weeks worth of road sign every year.
Every year, yeah. Yeah. And I think grand opening is an exception to that, or is that part of it?
I think that might be part of it too.
Okay. Because I remember these rules from when we did our frozen yogurt shop was they're like, oh, for the grand opening you can have this, but otherwise you can just do this. And you can redo your grand opening every few years. Or something like that, relaunch. I don't know. So it's just interesting. I mean, it makes sense. I guess you don't want feather flags all over the street, but makes it hard for people to find good pizza.
Yeah. Well, that's where Google Maps is great.
Oh yeah.
I was pretty excited. I think maybe 6 months after we opened, someone came and Kyle, check this out, and they're like, hey Siri, what's the best pizza near me? And it threw up Woodward Pizza. I mean, granted, they were inside the restaurant, and I don't know where they were the last time they tried it, but I was like, hey, I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you're showing up as one of the first ones, or the first one.
I don't know if that's still the case, or if it's if you're within 4 blocks of the restaurant or 10 miles. Who knows?
How much you pay Google for that?
Oh, I wish I had the kind of money to pay Google for things.
All right. Anything else that we're missing about Woodward?
I mean, I could talk about pizza for hours.
I mean, I can too. I don't know if people want to hear us talk about pizza for hours.
No, I mean, I think the big thing for us is we really try to make what we think is really good pizza. And really it's what I grew up on, and it's one of those things where I want to build a pizzeria to where somebody has those memories of pizza that I had of pizza. So that way they're a lifelong fan.
Ah, I like that. That's quite a mission.
It is.
Okay, I will ask you this before we start wrapping up. What are some of your other favorite places to eat around town? It could be another pizza place, or just in general. Where do you like going to eat?
So when somebody comes into town, take the day off and I go down to Nick's.
Okay.
Get a burger.
Okay.
So we go wait in line for 2 hours to go have a burger and some fries.
Yeah.
Cash only. So that's probably that is my if you come into town.
That's where we're going.
And you eat beef, that's one of the things we're going to do.
Okay. I like that.
And then for me, it's just kind of running around to just the local spots and supporting local businesses. So if I'm going to do Italian, it's local. If I'm going to do Mexican, it's local. So I love going to Hidalgo's right here, in between Woodward and my house. That's my favorite Mexican restaurant because it's good. They're consistent every time, and everyone there's always so friendly.
Yeah.
And that's what you get going to a local restaurant where the owners are involved and they care.
Yep. You can tell the difference.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And Hidalgo's is right there on 2nd and Santa Fe or Kelly.
Yep.
Right.
It's good. And then I'm hoping someone opens a Roman style pizza shop just so I can go get it without having to make it myself.
Yeah. Go grab a slice.
Yep. I love Roman style pizza. It's more work than even Detroit style, which is a lot of work.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that pre-baking or is that while baking?
So that it's
I
it's
guess
a par
you can't
bake.
really work more during baking.
Yeah,
That was a silly question.
So it is a par bake, but it's a higher hydration dough. The pans are big. It's a thinner pizza, so it's it's a really you've got to have it proofed, but you got to stretch it while it's fluffy, but you can't take the air out because then it's not fluffy at all. and you got to get like the times and temperatures right, and you want to get it all the way to the corners, so it's it's right. Or it comes if it comes away, it's not. It still tastes the same, but it's not as good because it's not there in the corner and it's not the right shape.
I think Kyle is working on a Roman style pizza secretly.
I've cooked a few here and there.
I don't doubt it. I've seen tons of videos about it, and I love those shops that because it's like different. I'm gonna call them flavors of pizza. And then you just go. You're like, hey, I want a slice of that, or I want this much of it, and each one kind of measures it out a little differently.
Well, it's usually you say like I want that, and they'll kind of like all right, how much do you want?
And cut it off,
and they cut it for you, and they throw it on a piece of paper and they weigh it. And
yeah,
you buy your pizza by the weight, like deli meat.
Yeah, I feel like that's an amazing way to do it. People are like, where do you want it? And I just never say stop. Just
I'll take that whole thing.
Yeah, just wrap it up, roll it up, give it to me. Nice. Okay. People that want to follow Woodward Pizza online, where should they go?
So our website is woodwardpizza.com. And if you want to follow us on Instagram and Facebook, we're at Woodward Pizza. So we're easy to find. We're Woodward Pizza on everything.
Woodward Pizza. If you haven't tried Detroit style, even if you have tried Detroit style pizza and you haven't tried Woodward yet, go check them out. My favorite, just the cheese. That's what I do. I was just like, I'll just get the cheese. I also like the buffalo chicken. This is one of the better buffalo chicken pizzas I've seen or found. But yeah, no, can't go wrong. It's a really good pizza. In fact, again, I'm going to date the recording date. It was National Detroit Pizza Day or something like that.
Yep.
Yesterday or 2 days ago?
The 23rd of June.
Yeah.
So Buddy's Pizza campaigned for that, and they did all the paperwork to make that happen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I unfortunately didn't get any Detroit style pizza yesterday, but I did notice that because I think I put a calendar event on there because I was like, oh, it's Detroit Pizza Day. I got to put that on my calendar. Maybe next year I'll do something for that. That'd be fun.
See, I think it would have made more sense on March 13th. 313 is like Detroit's area code, and it's like a day before Pi Day. So like we get like that 1 day ahead of Pi Day is like 313 Day.
Is that what? Maybe we need another one.
I think so.
I think maybe we make it Oklahoma City Pizza Day or something. Maybe, and then maybe we'll catch on.
We can try.
I like it. Is that why that place in Austin is called VA 313?
It is.
Okay. Wow. So many questions answered on this pod. That was probably the first place I had a pizza of that style.
Okay.
Was VA 313. And then I had it at Pizza Rock in Vegas.
Yep. So Tony G is a pretty cool dude. Like I've spent time with him. Like I've spent kitchen time. Like we bake pizza together. It's pretty cool guy. And like
that's wild.
He literally has like a franchise. Like he franchises out slice houses and all this stuff, and he still takes time to go mentor and teach people who own their own shops. Not even like one of his franchises.
That's cool.
It's pretty cool.
I mean, he's passionate about pizza.
Yeah,
and his pizza is really good.
It is.
If you go to Vegas, check out Pizza Rock. It's so good.
It's a cool environment too, like that big semi, like the loud music, and it's a fun place to go have a meal.
Yeah, and everyone there is super friendly. I haven't had a bad experience there. In fact, there was this one time. We love going on tangents on the pod, by the way.
Yeah.
There was this one time, me and my friend were in Vegas. There was, a typical Vegas group next to us. They had been drinking all day. We're sitting there. One of the guys, he was like, hey, how's it going? And we're just having fun with him. And he's like, what'd you order? And I told him, I was like, we got the Detroit Red Top. And then we got their margarita, which their margarita is super light and airy. So good. And he just didn't even look at the menu. His group was like, oh, we'll just order that. And so they got the pizza, and the guy was trying to cut the slice of the Detroit into serve, and he flipped the pan over. And it just went plop on the floor next to us. And it didn't affect our thing or anything like that, but the people at Pizza Rock were like, hey, we're so sorry about that. They comped us the meal. They were like, you can sit here until we close, and your tab's on us. Like, I was just like, there was no need to do that, but that's amazing. I love it.
No, it's amazing, and that's why, crazy thing about some of his locations at his restaurants, $1 million a month in pizza at a single location. It's pretty wild.
I mean, they make a really good pizza.
The amount of food they serve, the great service.
Yeah, they went above and beyond right there, and That's a story I tell people. That's like what happened to you at a pizza place. This is what happened to me at a pizza place. Talking with you, I said I would ask you this, but I know you competed in a pizza competition in Vegas too, right?
Yeah, I've done it for a couple years, so it's one of those things where you go to learn and be in that environment with all those people. Some of the best pizzaiolos in the world are in Las Vegas, making New York, Chicago, Roman, all these different styles of pizza and like these creative toppings and all of the things you get to see. People are cooking in 30 or 40 different ovens. Some of them have the ovens in their shop, some of them don't. So everyone's out there like figuring it out together, and everyone is so helpful. It's like, people are like, I can't find, my olive oil. And so it's like, well, what kind of olive oil do you need? And, they'll go find something, like they'll help them out, or, it's pretty wild. Like they're in this big competition and they're like, oh, you need anything? Like, it's a cool community to be a part of, and everyone's there to learn and to get better. So they're there to help everyone. Yeah.
They're passionate about pizza and they want to win on merit as opposed to, you don't have your olive oil.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I really want to go to this. It's usually in March or
it's usually around, when, college basketball is going on.
Okay.
So
I'm going to look this up. I think I looked it up last year when we talked about this. And I was like, I really want to go to this because pizza. It's an international pizza competition.
So the cool thing about it too is like when the pizza competitions are going on, if you hang out by the judges table, the judges aren't going to eat all the pizza. They bring out the leftover slices after they're done judging. So you get to like snag little bits and pieces and you can taste what all these other people are doing.
Oh, heck yeah.
So little pro tip.
Okay.
Hang out in the competition area.
Done. And when you're there, go support Kyle. Are you going to do it this year again?
Yeah, I think we're going to try, as long as the restaurant is running. We've got, no fires, nothing burns down. Like the plan is to spend the time out there to learn a little bit more every year and try to get better.
Nice. I love it. And I can't wait to see what else Woodward has in store. More locations, more pizzas.
It's all in the works.
Yeah. No, I'm excited about that. I think it's going to be great. So if you haven't done so yet, go follow Woodward. Check out their pie of the month, and all the things that they're up to. While you're on social media, follow us as well, OKC Foodcast, and follow Walt 405, who sponsors this podcast by providing us this great recording studio to record in. Walt 405 is a great co-working space here in downtown Edmond. You can come here, work for the day. They've got conference rooms. They obviously have a podcast studio. If you need a place to work for a day, for a month, forever, check it out. Wall 405 by Citizens Bank. I think that'll do it for this episode. Thanks, Kyle, for taking time out of a busy pizza maker's day. What was it?
Pizzaiolo.
Pizzaiolo. Is there a certain certification you need to get to be called that? Or if you make one pizza, you're a Pizzaiolo?
You can be certified. So technically, I'm a certified master Pizzaiolo trainer.
Oh, okay.
So I've spent time like literally learning from people who don't speak English how to make pizza with translators to become, like this, master trainer.
Dang.
In, a couple different styles of pizza, but I specialize in Detroit. But, it's one of those things, if I were to want to open a pizza school,
you could do that.
I could totally do that.
Do you take on private students?
For the right student, we can make it happen.
All right. I'm hearing a yes. So, go eat some pizza. And until next time, eat well and be happy.